Liberal fact check of teachers union boss Randy Weingarten gets fact checked. Now this is classic. This is awesome. Excuse me. I did a video on Randy Weingarten and how she tried to walk back and pretend like pretend like she wasn't for keeping the schools locked down for as long as it was locked down for. She didn't even want to open the schools. They had to fight her to actually open the schools. But now she's trying to pretend that this never happened. And then, of course, the so-called fact checkers at PolitiFact went to bail her out and try to pretend like like she never called for she never called for the schools to be locked down. Well, PolitiFact got fact checked by Twitter's fact checkers. So finally, someone is actually fact checking the fact checkers, because I asked that question when these so-called fact checkers start coming into existence. Mainly, PolitiFact is one of them, of course. And I was like, well, who fact checked the fact checkers? Now, finally, someone is fact checking the fact checkers. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon where I talk about things I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my merch store where I have I Will Not Comply t-shirts. So get those t-shirts. And also check out jjthepsychotherapist.com as well for the latest in news. I post tons of news there throughout the day. Whenever I have, time in between sessions, I like to write articles and things like that. But anyway, let's go ahead and talk about this news. The liberal website PolitiFact published a so-called fact check defending teachers union boss Randi Weingarten, who has been criticized of aggressively opposing efforts to reopen schools during the COVID-19 pandemic. And again, I did a whole video on her trying to walk it back. But the PolitiFact check was subsequently fact checked via community notes feature on Twitter, which I love. I love that. The community fact checkers determined that PolitiFact was misrepresenting Weingarten's position on reopening schools, noting that the union boss, quote, consistently tweeted her support for the closure of schools well into fall of 2020. I mean, the internet is forever. We got receipts for all this, but yet they still continue to put out these lies. It's ridiculous. They try to act like we're stupid. So let's talk about what they're saying. PolitiFact argued that Weingarten, quote, advocated for reopening schools and suggested it was misleading to claim that she opposed reopening at all. Just flat out lie. Now, Twitter fact-checking team argued more accurately and backed by evidence. They showed the receipts that Weingarten and the teachers' unions under her control, quote, push aggressively at the state and local level to keep schools closed, even as public health experts said it was safe for students to return to the classroom. I remember when all this was happening. I reported on all this. I was like, these lazy teachers don't want to go back to school. I kept saying that. The community fact checkers posted a link to comments Weingarten made in July 2020 when she denounced the Trump administration plan to reopen schools in the fall as, quote, reckless, callous, and cruel. Her words. Her words. The union opposition, quote, continued in 2022, the Twitter experts correctly pointed out, especially in areas controlled by Democratic politicians. In Chicago, for example, teachers' union threatened to strike when local leaders announced a plan to reopen schools. I remember that because even Lori Lightfoot commented about that, and even she was like, she wanted to reopen the schools and was getting pushed back. And she's a leftist, and she even called out Weingarten on that, which is surprising to me. And the liberal media have long sought to exert monopoly control over the truth by publishing so-called fact checks that almost every case accuse Republicans of lying and defending Democrats accused of lying. And Twitter's community notes feature drives them crazy because it undermines the monopoly by harnessing the power of democracy. And we can show receipts. Reckless, callous, and cruel. So students' test score have dropped significantly as a result of the union driven effort to keep schools closed for so long against the advice of health experts. The detrimental social and behavioral effects, including increased stress, anxiety, and depression, will be felt for years to come. And I'm seeing it in my practice. There's so many kids that's just stressed. They're awkward in social situations, and I'm having to teach them normal social skills and social cues and things like that that they should have been learning in school. I'm having to go and teach these kids this stuff, and it's crazy. And I blame it on the union, and I blame it on Randi Weingarten, because it's their fault the schools was closed for as long as it was. But let me know what you think. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, subscribe, and check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.